want to welcome everybody to the annual Police Appreciation Brunch. It's always an honor and a privilege for me as the police chief to stand up here and brag about the great police department that we have and share with you the great stories of the work that they do throughout the year. Our department truly appreciates the support that we get from you, our community members, and also from our elected officials. And I want to take a moment to quickly acknowledge our city council that's here today. Mayor Pro Tem Fred Smith. I don't see him. Councilwoman Beth Swift. Is Councilwoman Sunny Park here? And Mayor Art Brown unfortunately could not be here, but I believe his wife, Chris Brown, who's a member of the Savannah School Board, is present with us today. So thank you for being here, Chris. Also want to recognize my boss, Jim Vanderpool, the city manager. In addition, I want to thank the many federal, state, and local and elected officials and their representatives for joining us today. We have representatives from Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk-Silver's office, from State Senator Ling Ling Chan's office, Congressman Gil Cisneros' office, Congressman Alan Lowenthal's office. We do greatly appreciate all that you do from the state and federal level to help us here in the city of Buena Park and help law enforcement and for the residents of Buena Park. So thank you for being here. And lastly, to all of our sponsors, thank you. Thank you, thank you. We could not do this without you, and this event would not be successful. So thank you for what you do. Now, if I could please get everybody to please stand for the presentation of colors by our Buena Park Police Department Color Guard.
Please join me in saluting the flag of our great nation. Ready to begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to introduce Shania Moore, who I met at Love Buena Park. She was singing there, and I was totally impressed. And so we asked her to come and sing our national anthem today. Shania?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bullets bursting in air, gave proof through the night
and have our Buena Park Police Department chaplains, Diane and Kevin Trilo, come up and give the invocation.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming. We look forward to a wonderful day today. It's just been a privilege and a long honor to come alongside the department. So we just thank everybody that's made us feel at home and so welcome. So let's just take a moment and bow our heads, and we'll ask for blessings on this day. Blessed are you, Lord, our God, King of the universe, who's given us life, sustained us, and enabled us to be here today. God, we thank you for your presence and that you're here with us today. We thank you for those that have worked so hard to put this day together, many hours spent. We thank you for this time that we'll have together today, that you would bless our fellowship and our conversation with one another. Lord, and we just know that that you'll bless that one person that we're going to meet today, Lord, that we can possibly become acquaintances with and friends with in the future.
Father God, we also thank you for the opportunity, Lord, to serve this city. God, I thank you for every man and woman in this department, God, that comes along this city in such a professional way that brings encouragement, God, to our community. Father God, I pray a hedge of protection around every man and woman in our department, God, that they would know immediately, God, when they meet someone, how to approach that person in a way, God, that makes them feel heard, that makes them know that they care for this community as much as the residents do. Father God, I thank you for the privilege, God, and the honor of serving with a department, Lord, that is a light in this state. God, I pray that you would bless this food that we're about to eat. I pray, God, that you bless the hands that have prepared it. And God, I pray that you would be with the conversation at every table today, that it would bring glory to you. In your most holy name, amen.
Okay, if I can get everybody's attention. I would like to begin with a quote from someone that we all know. His name was Theodore Roosevelt. And we all know him as the President of the United States, but he was also the New York City Police Commissioner. And he said, "No man is worth his salt who is not really at all times to risk his body, to risk his well-being, to risk his life in a great cause. Policing with honor in the United States of America is a great cause." And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that the men and women of the Buena Park Police Department work hard every single day for that great cause. If I could, get everyone from the Buena Park Police Department to please stand up. And those that are not standing, please join me in applause for appreciation for what they do. Thank you. Our training, our level of service, our commitment to doing the right thing are second to none, and I am truly proud to be part of this team. We are also proud of the strong relationships that we have forged with our neighborhoods, our schools, our residents, and businesses as we continue to prevent and reduce crime and enhance the quality of life for everyone in this community. You know, as I was preparing for this luncheon or brunch, and I'm sure that you do as well, reflect on your life. And I just finished my 8th year as a police chief here in the city of Buena Park, and about to have my 40th anniversary with the city of Buena Park Police Department. It's quite a milestone. It's quite of achievement, and I'm very humble for what I do here. But you often wonder where time goes. And I think back to when I was hired at the age of 21 as a police officer, and I compare it to what it's like today. When I first started my career in the police academy, it was only 12 weeks long. Now it's 6 months. When I was hired, I was issued a revolver handgun, 2 speedy loaders, a handheld radio, a pair of handcuffs, a tear gas canister, a wooden nightstick, and a map book. I was trained how to shoot, how to drive, how to administer CPR, and also trained in weaponless defense. I had to go out and buy myself a Thomas guide just in case they sent me somewhere out of the city. I know a lot of you probably have never heard of a Thomas guide in this room. And our police units at the time were equipped with a radio and a shotgun. Today, our officers are equipped with a semi-auto handgun, multiple ammunition magazines, 2 sets of handcuffs, a patrol rifle with multiple ammunition clips, pepper spray, a baton, a handheld radio, a voice recorder, a body-worn camera, and a taser. In their police units, they have mobile data computers, dashboard in-car cameras, license plate readers, electronic ticket writers, shotguns, less lethal weapons. Now some will have drones in their vehicles, a defibrillator, and a bag full of first aid supplies, a gas mask, and some hazardous material equipment. And all of our officers have their own cell phones that they use on their job. Didn't have cell phones in my day. Officers today are expected to be trained in how to use all of that equipment. The amount of education and re-education of police officers that they have to learn every day is challenging, which is one of the reasons why the academics are now 6 months long instead of 12 weeks. It requires literally more daily re-education than a doctor or a lawyer ever needs to do their job. And when a police officer applies that education, he or she has to be a psychologist, a pharmacologist, a teacher, a counselor, a negotiator, a salesperson, a lawyer, a social worker, a mental health worker, an EMT, and also, if necessary, be decisive to be able to make a split-second decision on whether or not to use deadly force to protect themselves or someone from imminent danger if they have to. And this could all happen in one shift. It has always been a tough job, but it is much tougher today than ever before. Serving as police officers today means facing adversity and overcoming increasing challenges. We ask more of our officers on the street today than any other time in our history. Policing is about much more than simply investigating crime and arresting the bad guys. I thank God every day, as a police chief, for our police officers who put their lives on the line for people that they have never met. Strangers to them, people that they don't even know. I thank them for their commitment, their dedication, their sacrifice, and for always being ready to risk their own lives to keep you, our community members, safe. In 2018, more than 160 officers were killed in the United States, and another 55,000 were injured in the line of duty in this country. There were 8 officers killed in the state of California last year alone. In this country, a police officer is assaulted about every 10 minutes. This is not only unacceptable, but sad because it reminds us that police work is a dangerous job and can come at a very steep price. To date, 3 Buena Park police officers and 1 Los Angeles County Sheriff deputy have died in the line of duty in the city of Buena Park. 3 passed during my time here with the city. Those who have passed are friends, and all of them are family, a brotherhood. It is important that we honor them through our remembrance. Please, let's pause and take a moment to pay tribute to those officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice while serving and protecting this great community of Buena Park. Detective Daryl Bud Kate, Buena Park Police Department, end of watch, September 21st, 1972. Deputy Shane Daniel York, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, end of watch, August 14th, 1997. Corporal Tyler Matthew Pinchot, Buena Park Police Department, end of watch September 21st, 2003. And Detective Daniel Ryan Ackerman, Buena Park Police Department, end of watch July 30th, 2011. As we look upon this empty table to my right of honor, we honor and remember our brothers and sisters. Remember those whom we depended on. They now depend on us to bring them honor and respect. Remember our friends. They are the ones we love, who loved life and freedom just as we do every day. These fallen officers live on in our memory as their courage and commitment have shown the true meaning of heroism. We offer our respect and our prayers to their loved ones. Present with us today, from the Ackerman family, we have Dan's mother, Cindy. From the Pinchot family, we have Tyler's mother, Sally Pinchot, and Tyler's widow, Susie White. And from the York family, we have his father, Dan York, and his stepmother, Mary, along with his aunt and uncle, Pat and Dale Patterson. Thank you to the families for being here. We'll never forget them. So let us move on to awards. But before I do, I want to recognize just a couple of people. One, it's our Councilwoman Beth Swift's birthday. So happy birthday, Beth. And I want to recognize, and I know she's going to hate me for doing this, but Gina Van Stratton. You all have a copy of our biannual report on your table. She has worked tirelessly on putting this together, and she did an outstanding job. Thank you. So for our first award, if I could get Judy Williams to come on up here. Come on, Judy. Want me to do this? Lieutenant Judy Williams was assigned to the Professional Standards Unit as a sergeant from May 14th through January 2018. The Professional Standards Unit is probably the busiest supervisor job on the department. Knowing how important it is to have a good foundation and lead by example, Lieutenant Williams not only handled the day-to-day workload well, she looked forward towards the future needs of the department and the city. Because she was inundated with recruitment, hiring, and backgrounds, and it was causing us to lose potential candidates, something needed to be done. As a solution, she subsequently selected 2 officers to create what is known as our Hiring and Training Team, HAT. This team was created to specifically focus on recruiting, background, and hiring of personnel and getting them trained and ready for the police academy. She went above and beyond in providing the necessary oversight the HAT team required in order to recruit and hire some of our finest employees, some which we are recognizing here today. She was very passionate about treating others fairly and helping them be successful. Accordingly, in order to ensure the highest level of success for our police officer recruits, she also developed a pre-academy so that our recruits could recognize their strengths and weaknesses before they entered the actual academy. This type of pre-academy is rare among law enforcement agencies, so her idea to implement was welcomed with open arms. This is truly a testament to her high level of support and mentorship to the individuals who were carefully selected to be part of the Buena Park Police Department. Lieutenant Williams is being recognized for immensely improving our hiring and training efforts by establishing this new team that is dedicated to employing the best personnel and preparing them for the future. Congratulations. Officer Brian Johnson. On January 20th, 2018, Officer Johnson initiated a traffic stop in the area of Beach Boulevard and Malvern Avenue of a vehicle occupied by 2 individuals. As the vehicle stopped, the driver reached out the window and folded the side mirror inward towards the vehicle, which prevented Officer Johnson from being able to view what the driver was doing inside the vehicle. As Officer Johnson noticed the driver's unusual behavior and moving around in a manner as if he was trying to conceal something, Officer Johnson quickly requested additional officers to respond. As soon as the additional officers arrived, Officer Johnson conducted a pat-down search of the driver and found $5,400 in cash and a pepper spray gun. He also requested a records check of the passenger and discovered he had outstanding warrants. As for the driver, Officer Johnson felt strongly he was trying to conceal something. The large amount of cash, coupled with a pepper spray gun located on his person, caused him to believe there could possibly be additional contraband inside the vehicle. When the canine arrived, an external search of the car was conducted, and the canine alerted to narcotics inside. As soon as Officer Johnson continued searching the car, he also located a loaded handgun, some ecstasy pills, and some marijuana. His investigation revealed both occupants were convicted felons. Both suspects were subsequently arrested on charges of a felon in possession of a handgun, narcotic sales, and seizure of $5,400. Thanks to Officer Johnson, 2 dangerous felons were arrested, and both drugs and the gun were removed from the streets of Buena Park. Congratulations. You need to stay up here because you have another one. And if I could get Officer Sara Moeller to come up too. On February 17, 2018, Officers Johnson and Moeller were working together as a 2-officer patrol unit and conducted a patrol check at the apartment complex on Stage Road. Knowing there was an influx of auto burglaries at this complex and in the surrounding area, they took it upon themselves to self-initiate and increase patrol activity. As the officers drove through the parking lot, they noticed a male inside of a Lexus SUV. When the subject became aware of their presence, he exited the car and began to walk away, leaving the vehicle door wide open. Suspicious? When the officers attempted to make contact with the subject, he took off running. Officers Johnson and Moeller chased him through the apartment complex and eventually caught him. Their investigation revealed that the subject was on probation for prior auto burglary convictions just 5 months earlier and at the same apartment complex. They're not very smart. Officers Johnson and Moeller were proactive and conducted a thorough investigation, which resulted in the arrest of a burglar who obviously was attempting to continue his life of crime. Thwarting his efforts protected so many potential victims from his crime spree. Congratulations, some great police work. Corporal Joey Hoover. On January 28th, 2018, Corporal Hoover located a U-Haul rental van in the parking lot of one of our local motels on Beach Boulevard. A records check revealed the U-Haul van was reported stolen. Believing the driver would return to the vehicle at some point, Corporal Hoover coordinated a surveillance on the stolen U-Haul. Knowing vehicle pursuits have become all too common among criminals, Corporal Hoover thought proactively and formulated a plan to prevent the driver from fleeing. About an hour into the surveillance, Corporal Hoover observed a female get into the van. Officers quickly surrounded the vehicle and the female was taken into custody. Corporal Hoover did not stop there. He continued his investigation and leaked the female to a room at the motel. He went to the room and made contact with 2 males who were inside. He also noticed an odd-looking $100 bill sitting on top of a printer and a glass smoking pipe inside the room. Corporal Hoover determined the $100 bill was counterfeit and also connected the 2 males to the rental car out in the parking lot. Inside the rental car, he found additional evidence of counterfeiting and fraud. Corporal Hoover's tenacity recovered yet another stolen vehicle, which led to locating a counterfeiting operation and put 3 career criminals in jail. His thorough investigation and well-detailed report enabled the district attorney to file 3 felony counts and 2 misdemeanors on the suspects. The following month, on February the 1st, Corporal Hoover initiated a traffic stop in the area of Western and Orangethorpe. A records check revealed the driver was on probation for a variety of narcotic offenses. While conducting a search of the vehicle, Corporal Hoover located methamphetamine, a scale, packaging material, over $3,000 in cash, and a sawed-off shotgun. The driver was arrested and charged with possession of drugs for sale and a felon in possession of a firearm. These are just two examples of the fine police work our officers are conducting and a testament to Corporal Hoover's commitment to keeping the city of Buena Park safe. Congratulations. If I could get our records clerk, Brittany Alcala, to come up. Brittany was selected as a civilian of the quarter for January through March of 2018. Brittany is always willing and ready to help whenever she is needed, no matter what the task is. She not only works the busiest shift of the day for the Records Bureau, she also works the first 5 hours of her shifts as a solo records clerk. With just a half an hour overlapping between shifts, her shift begins by accepting the workload that carries over from the previous shift. This often includes checking stored vehicles, entries, responding to report requests, clearance letters, and background checks, as well as receiving numerous phone calls for the court liaison whose shift ends just before Brittany's shift begins. Once the crunch hours are over, Brittany must quickly change gears and focuses on processing reports. She selects the reports by priority and systematically works her way through the records queue. Brittany knows her job extremely well and developed a system for herself that helps her streamline her work process. As a result, during the period of January through March, Brittany processed and workflowed 375 reports to the Detective Bureau. She completed an additional 271 miscellaneous reports, including 116 arrest reports. In spite of the volume of Brittany's productivity, she's best known for her outstanding customer service and quality control skills. Brittany is not only being recognized for her impeccable skill set, but also for going above and beyond, all the while never losing her kindness or willingness to help others. Congratulations. If I can get Sara Moeller to come back up here again. On April 6, 2018, Officer Moeller was dispatched to Dream One Education regarding a vehicle burglary. When she arrived, she contacted the victim, who said she was picking up her son from school, and when she returned to her vehicle, she found the driver's side window smashed and many items, including her purse, had been stolen. Officer Moeller checked the video surveillance footage at the school, where it showed the suspect breaking into the victim's vehicle and fleeing into the alley. Although the video was not clear enough to identify the suspect, it did show what the suspect was wearing and allowed for a decent physical and clothing description. As Officer Moeller continued to investigate the crime, she requested the victim call and cancel her credit cards. When the victim did so, she was advised that one of her credit cards had been used at the Walmart near Disneyland for 3 separate transactions totaling $600. Officer Moeller proceeded to the Walmart and worked with the loss prevention personnel to review the video and track down the 3 transactions. As they reviewed the video, Officer Moeller saw 2 male suspects using the victim's credit card in the video. One of the suspects matched the description of the suspect seen breaking into the vehicle. The video also clearly showed the primary suspect had very distinct tattoos. Officer Moeller continued her investigation by searching law enforcement databases. During the search, she was able to identify the suspect by his tattoos, which matched the suspect in the Walmart video. In an approximate 6-hour time span, Officer Moeller had filed the report, followed up on every possible lead, and had the suspect identified by the end of her shift. Another example of her determination and excellent investigative skills. Congratulations. Corporal Tom Carney. It's going to fall. Thanks. Although this is Corporal Tom Carney's first time up here this morning, it will not be his last, and you will see him again today. But for now, he was our May 2018 top cop. On May 2nd, 2018, Corporal Carney was patrolling the area of Knott Avenue and Orangethorpe Avenue, where he conducted a vehicle stop. As he contacted the driver, Corporal Carney noticed he was extremely apprehensive and fidgety. A records check revealed he was on parole for robbery, so in Corporal Carney's normal, everyday, hardworking fashion, he dug deeper. He searched the vehicle and found narcotics paraphernalia and soon discovered stolen property and various stolen credit cards, gift cards, checks, checkbooks, numerous forms of identification, personal mail, and other types of documents. Corporal Carney arrested the driver for possession of stolen property and narcotics-related charges. Instead of merely booking the property and relying on the detectives to follow up with their investigation, Corporal Carney took it upon himself to find the victims of this suspect. Corporal Carney's diligent search and tenacity located 15 victims of identity theft. All confirmed he confirmed all their personal information had been compromised. The suspect was additionally charged with identity theft. Corporal Carney's performance is solid, meticulous, and leaves absolutely no stone unturned. This arrest took a serious criminal off the street, one that preyed upon the personal information and vulnerability of some hardworking people. Congratulations on a job well done. Detective Joey Hoover. I'm sorry, Davenport. You can both come up if you want. Joey, I'm just so used to calling you up, it's just a habit. He gets one once in a while. During the summer of 2018, Detective Davenport worked our very busy auto theft assignment. This position requires an exceptionally solid and detailed investigator. Although Detective Davenport had only been assigned the desk for about 6 months at that time, he was doing an excellent job of managing his caseload and balancing his collateral assignments, which included the SWAT team, field training officer, cadet mentoring, the equipment committee, and assisting in creating an unmanned aircraft system, a drone program for our department. Detective Davenport quickly learned and demonstrated impressive investigative skills. He allowed forensic evidence, tracked down leads from tips received, and developed information by working with our crime analyst, and other outside agencies. During the summer of 2018, Detective Davenport was the case agent on several complex investigations that resulted in court filings. In February, Detective Davenport responded to the Westminster Police Department to interview a subject they had in custody who was in possession of property and car keys that were stolen from a residential burglary here in Buena Park on February the 1st. Even though the suspect denied being involved with the burglary and theft of the car, he did provide information that led Detective Davenport to recovering the stolen vehicle. In the weeks that followed, he served a search warrant at the suspect's home and presented the case to the district attorney, who issued an arrest warrant for burglary, possession of stolen property, and auto theft for the suspect. The suspect was eventually captured after a pursuit into Anaheim, where he broke into a home and hid in the attic, resulting in a SWAT team call-out. Then on April the 9th, 2018, patrol officers took a stolen vehicle report from one of our local motels. Detective Davenport followed up on information he received from our patrol officers and identified the suspect, obtained an arrest warrant, and ultimately arrested that suspect. Once in custody, Detective Davenport conducted a thorough investigation and obtained an admission from him. He then obtained a search warrant for the suspect's DNA and matched it to evidence recovered from the stolen car. This resulted in a felony filing for the case. Since the latter part of 2017, multiple vehicles have been burglarized at Clerk Regional Park, and this did not sit well with Detective Davenport. Therefore, he enlisted the help of our crime analyst and disseminated a be on the lookout notice disseminated countywide. Because of the notice, 2 suspects were identified, and Detective Davenport was able to gather enough evidence to file 3 burglary and fraud cases from our area with the district attorney on those suspects. These cases are just a sampling of the great work Detective Davenport demonstrates daily and represents the high level of initiative and expertise that he brings to work every day. Congratulations. Dispatcher James Brandstetter. While training a newly hired dispatcher in the Communications Center on July 6, 2018, Dispatcher Brandstetter Brandstetter's trainee answered a call from a despondent female. The caller indicated she was depressed and considering harming herself. James quickly recognized the severity of the issue and interjected into the conversation, beginning a dialogue with the female caller. Shortly after the dialogue began, James realized the female was calling from a neighboring city of Cerritos, which is within the Los Angeles County Sheriff's jurisdiction. Therefore, James needed to transfer the call to the appropriate jurisdiction. In order to get help expedited to the caller, James stayed on the line to ensure a smooth transition to the Sheriff's Communications Center. Unfortunately, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's dispatcher was not successful in obtaining a rapport with the caller. They were unable to obtain relevant information to send assistance. The female rather became more increasingly upset and reluctant to provide her address or even want a police response to her residence. James interjected and in hope to reconnect with the caller. By carefully constructing his choice of words and by demonstrating compassion, he was able to develop the rapport necessary to provide her the help that she was seeking. The female caller soon after provided her address to the dispatchers, and Cerritos Station deputies were able to respond to assist her in person. Later that day, Sergeant Bishop from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, Cerritos Station, contacted the Buena Park Police Department watch commander. Sergeant Bishop praised James' compassion and professionalism throughout the call, and he believed James's communication skills on this phone call potentially deterred the female caller from acting on her symptoms of depression. This example of true professionalism during an intense call is just a reminder of how our dispatchers' words and actions can be the difference between life and death. Oftentimes, dispatchers offer the first opportunity to make a good impression in law enforcement. Using sound communication skills can be the difference between a positive outcome or a tragedy. James' sound decision-making to stay on the phone a short while longer to ensure the call was fully conveyed and taking the initiative to be calm and that reassuring voice the caller needed to clearly hear helped move this incident along to a happier, safer conclusion for all involved. Good job. Sergeant Pat Carney. On June 29, 2018, during the wee hours of the morning, Sergeant Carney noticed a vehicle with extremely dark tinted windows, which not only prevented him from being able to see inside the car, but also was a driver's safety issue. Sergeant Carney attempted to stop the vehicle, but the driver quickly accelerated and made an abrupt turn down a side street. It appeared as though an object had been thrown from the car as it was turning. Eventually, the car stopped and Sergeant Carney contacted the occupants. The driver and two passengers were known gang members. One additional officer arrived to assist. Sergeant Carney walked back to the area where the vehicle made the sudden turn. Sure enough, Sergeant Carney located a loaded handgun, which was reported stolen 2 years earlier. Amongst the numerous items located in the search of the vehicle, Sergeant Carney found nearly 19 grams of methamphetamine under the rear seat. All three subjects were arrested for carrying a loaded firearm, possession of stolen property, possession of methamphetamine for sale, and gang enhancements. Then on July 27, 2018, Sergeant Carney noticed a suspicious car parked at the gas station, and as he drove past the vehicle, he saw it did not have a front license plate on it. As the car pulled out onto the street, Sergeant Carney stopped it. When he made contact with the driver, the subject appeared extremely nervous and told Sergeant Carney he had taken a painkiller. The subject gave Sergeant Carney permission to search his vehicle, and during the search he found $593 in cash inside the power window switch housing, along with a large baggie containing heroin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. Sergeant Carney also located 4 functioning cell phones in the car. Consequently, Sergeant Carney arrested the driver for possession of narcotics for sale. Even though supervisors are not expected to make car stops or arrests, Sergeant Carney's self-initiated activity is the type of performance we are teaching our new officers to strive for. Clearly, Sergeant Carney is an outstanding role model to our troops. Congratulations on a job well done. Officer Lewis Sargent. If you ever get promoted to sergeant, that's going to be interesting, huh? Sergeant? Officer Sargent joined BPPD January of 2018 as a lateral police officer from Northern California, and he quickly hit the ground running. He works diligently and shows a genuine commitment to service. He was selected as our top cop for August of 2018. Officer Sargent had several notable calls for service and arrests during the month of August, one of which he apprehended a wanted gang member who frequently evades capture and is known to carry a firearm. Officer Sargent had received some specific information about the wanted gang member and coordinated efforts with his fellow officers to strategically conduct a traffic stop on a vehicle the subject was known to occupy. Once Officer Sargent and a fellow officer determined the subject was inside the car, he requested additional assistance. The wanted subject was known to exhibit dangerous behavior and has a long history of dodging authority. With Officer Sargent's tactical approach and coordination, officers prevented this subject from evading capture and was safely apprehended. Shortly thereafter, Officer Sargent stopped a vehicle leaving one of our local motels. The lone male driver became verbally aggressive and belligerent with Officer Sargent and refused to exit the vehicle. In true professionalism, Officer Sargent maintained his composure and convinced the driver to exit. Officer Sargent suspected the driver was concealing something, so he asked for help from our police canine, Adam. His gut instincts paid off when Canine Adam alerted on the scent of illegal narcotics in the vehicle, which led to finding a significant amount of methamphetamine. Additional evidence was located that suggested the driver was involved in distribution of methamphetamine for sale. This subject was taken into custody. Concluding the month of August, Officer Sargent continued his crime prevention efforts by making another outstanding arrest. While on routine patrol, he observed a car which clearly was not new, yet displayed paper dealer plates. Knowing very well criminals often replace license plates with paper plates to prevent detection, Officer Sargent conducted a car stop. Although the vehicle was not a stolen vehicle, Officer Sargent discovered the front passenger was armed with a loaded handgun. The passenger was arrested for carrying a loaded weapon and was transported to our police department, where Officer Sargent continued his investigation. Although throughout the interview the subject provided false information about his intentions, where he was going, and how he obtained the firearm, the weapon is off the streets. Because of Officer Sargent's diligence and attention to detail, a dangerous criminal is off the streets and a more serious crime was more than likely derailed. Officer Sargent continues to demonstrate a good work ethic, conduct thorough investigations, has a great attitude, and is definitely living up to his oath to protect and serve. Thank you. Officer Peter Krantz. Officer Krantz is also fairly new to BPPD. He joined our team in July of 2017 and quickly demonstrated a high drive and proactive performance. He was selected as our top cop for September 2018, and he leads his squad in self-initiated activity. During the month of September, Officer Krantz made some very good arrests for fraud, identity theft, and narcotics violations. However, his most notable are his arrests made for driving under the influence. In September alone, he made 10 driving under the influence arrests and led the entire department with over 45 driving under the influence arrests at that point. Officer Krantz quickly gained a reputation as an expert when it comes to field sobriety tests and driving under the influence investigations. His direct supervisor watched on numerous occasions as Officer Krantz instructed other officers on the steps of field sobriety testing and the required documentation. He became our go-to guy for advice when obtaining McNeely warrants, which are required before drawing blood for DUIs. Additionally, several supervisors have commended Officer Krantz on the thoroughness of his investigations and high-quality reports. Newer officers can easily consider Officer Krantz's reports as templates for all driving under the influence arrests. Of course, this is only a snapshot of Officer Krantz's quality stops, investigations, arrests, and mentoring. But can you imagine how many lives he saved by arresting that many DUI drivers? Thank you. Great job. Can I get Sergeant Pat Carney and Corporal Kimery to come up? I guess Corporal Kimery could not make it. And this is a life-saving award. On September the 8th, 2018 at 11:17 p.m., dispatch received an emergency call regarding a possible suicide. The female caller advised her friend, a 21-year-old male, called her indicating that he was depressed, apologetic, and did not want to leave any loose ends behind. The female found out that same evening her friend has a history of depression and suicidal tendencies. She believed her friend could possibly be at Clark Regional Park because of Snapchat photos that he had posted. Sergeant Carney, Corporal Kimery, and a Fullerton Police Department officer responded to Clark Regional Park, which is located on the boundaries of both the city of Buena Park and the city of Fullerton. When they arrived, Corporal Kimery found a car parked in the parking lot registered to the male. Because the park spans 104 acres, the officers coordinated a systematic search of the park in an effort to locate the despondent subject. The Orange County Fire Authority paramedics arrived and staged in order to provide potential medical aid. As Sergeant Carney was driving through the park, he spotted what he believed to be a male hanging by the neck from a rope in a gazebo inside the park. He ran to the gazebo and saw the male was definitely hanging with a noose around his neck, likely asphyxiated. The Fullerton police officer quickly used a knife to cut the rope, and then the officers gently guided the male to the ground. He was non-responsive, but Corporal Kimery determined he still had a faint pulse. Paramedics administered medical aid, even though the prognosis at the time appeared to be very grim. The male was transported to the hospital for further treatment. Sergeant Carney later followed up with the hospital and discovered the male was alive and expected to make a full recovery. The quick-thinking, carefully coordinated life-saving measures taken by the officers proved to be effective. Their team effort, calculated plan, and extensive search swiftly led them to this man to save his life. Because of their direct and immediate life-saving actions, they were awarded the Buena Park Police Department Life-Saving Ribbon. Congratulations. Our crime analyst, Sara Treadway, if I could have her come up. She was selected as Civilian of the Quarter for July through September of 2018. Sara has an impeccable work ethic and is always willing to support all units in our department. She has shaped the crime analyst position into a highly informative and effective tool in solving crimes. Sara shares accurate data of crime trends in our city that enables automation of many of her reports, thus allowing faster dissemination of information to our department. As many of you have heard this morning, our officers received the information from Sara and know what areas need additional attention or crime trends and what to be on the lookout for. Recently, there was an issue discovered of underreporting stolen property values to the Department of Justice. Sara created a report to identify property items lacking Department of Justice required information. Sara's reports are forwarded to our officers and supervisors so they can fix any deficiencies and also for their awareness for future data entry. She scrutinizes every report to the Department of Justice, and our department is now submitting the most thorough and precise reports possible. This is because of Sara's diligence and ability to keenly problem solve. Sara is always reaching out to other crime analysts to share information which assists in solving not only crimes in Buena Park, but other cities as well. Her daily use of social media has led to the identification of numerous suspects in open cases. Sara's prior position as a forensic specialist has also allowed her to assist our department in occasionally filling in for forensics when there's a vacancy. With her state-of-the-art knowledge and expertise, Sara provides input into the training program for our new forensic specialists. She remains certified as a forensic specialist, so she helps supplement some of the work which can only be performed by someone certified. Her continued certification helps mitigate the backlog of prints needed to be verified in order to solve these cases. She is performing dual roles flawlessly. Thank you, Sara, for being such a valuable employee, and congratulations on a job well done. Officer Corey Boudreau. Officer Boudreau is extremely proactive and leads his squad in self-initiated activity and arrests. During the month of November, the squad averaged 28 self-initiated calls with an average of 6 arrests. But Officer Boudreau had 51 self-initiated stops and 13 arrests. His activity levels clearly exemplify his hard-working, go-getter drive and keen observation. Officer Boudreau made several arrests for narcotics violations and routinely patrolled problem areas within the city during this month. He consistently monitors crime trends, particularly commercial burglaries. During the month of November, a notable arrest stood out amongst the others and unmistakably denotes his outstanding observation skills. On November the 21st, 2018, while traveling northbound on Knott Avenue, Officer Boudreau noticed a vehicle in the strip mall of the Tacos Mexico located at 7895 Knott Avenue. He quickly made a U-turn and stopped for a moment to assess the situation, at which point he realized he was actually watching a burglary in progress. He immediately advised dispatch, and while doing so, observed the suspects exiting the business. The suspects quickly got into a gray BMW and fled the scene as Officer Boudreau attempted to stop the vehicle. And the driver failed to comply and a pursuit ensued. The pursuit traveled onto Interstate 5, reaching speeds way over 100 miles per hour with a distance of 20 miles in 11 minutes. The pursuit ended in the city of Norwalk when the suspects abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot across the freeway. After a brief foot pursuit, one suspect was quickly apprehended, and the second suspect was unfortunately struck by a vehicle as he was running across the lanes of traffic. It's a tough job being a crook. He was quickly transported to the hospital for his injuries. Not only was this a great observation and arrest, but throughout the entire ordeal, Officer Boudreau remained calm and conducted himself in a professional manner. Officer Boudreau's proactive policing and attention to detail located a burglary in progress, apprehended the criminals involved, and provided closure for a small family that owns that business. Congratulations on a job well done. Okay, next we have a 10A51 award. If I could please have Lieutenant Sean Cooper with the California Highway Patrol and Monica Palais with the Southern California Automobile Club come up.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. On behalf of the Westminster area's Commander, Brian Lee, and the California Highway Patrol, we are truly honored to be here to help recognize your department's efforts in vehicle theft prevention and award the 10851 award this morning. A lot of people always ask, what is 10851? That is the California Vehicle Code section for criminal vehicle theft. And to qualify for the 10851 award, you have to meet certain criteria. One is 6 separate arrests involving a rolling stolen vehicle. That means an officer gets behind, lights up a car, and ends up being stolen. That's a rolling stolen vehicle. Recover a total of 12 vehicles, with at least of those being 3 rolling. And also develop information which uncovers a theft ring with 2 or more suspects and at least 10 vehicles recovered out of that theft ring. This morning, we want to recognize Buena Park Corporal, who's receiving this award today and is responsible for a total recovery value last year of approximately $293,500. One officer, a corporal. And I know, just have him come up. Corporal Tom Carney, just come on up if you would. Corporal Carney is not just receiving one 10851 award this morning, he's receiving 3, which is pretty much unheard of for one calendar year period. For award number 1, total value of vehicles recovered for award number 1, $78,000. He had 6 rollers, which involved 13 bodies being arrested. That's award number 1. Award number 2, he qualified for his 4th Master Award, which means this is basically his 5th, I believe, 5-1 award. So he's getting up there to rarefied air with his 4th Master Pin. So outstanding work. He wasn't done yet. He's now getting a 2nd certificate, so 3 total, with a total value of this award $107,000, include 9 rollers and 16 more arrests. So just an outstanding job all around. Again, outstanding work, and thank you for your efforts in vehicles there.
Okay, we have a MAD award presented by Melissa Estelle from MAD.
Good morning, everyone. Is it still morning? Okay. Thank you all for having me here. I'm truly humbled by hearing all the great work that everyone does, and it just confirms what we already know, that a lot of what you do goes unnoticed and is thankless. But I'm honored to be here to present 2 MAD awards. So every year we honor our law enforcement officials who go out and they remove those impaired drivers from our roads. So please welcome Officer Kevin Lindsay for 27 arrests. And of course, Officer Peter Kranz for 60 arrests, making him the top cop of the department.
Okay, on to our Employees of the Year. These awards are selected by their peers, and every year I present them to you. So is Sergeant Odette here from the association? You want to come on up here with me? So our first award is Explorer of the Year, and if I can have Captain Stephen Martinez come on up. So Explorer Stephen Martinez is an exemplary explorer. During his more than 6 years as a member of the post, he has been an influential part of the team. In the past few weeks, he has been promoted to the rank of Explorer Captain as a result of his hard work and dedication to the post. Explorer Captain Martinez has coordinated numerous details, ensuring explorers are present at city events, assisting other police explorer posts with their community events, and organizing volunteer service on behalf of the Explorer Post. Explorer Captain Martinez has also assisted in managing attendance at regular meetings, assisted in setting and maintaining performance standards, and planning training for our explorers. Explorer Captain Martinez consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic. He has used his many years of service to assist 2 new Explorer advisors in getting up to speed with the post. Due to the change in leadership, Explorer Captain Martinez's experience was critical to the success of the day-to-day operations of the post. Explorer Captain Martinez's leadership is noticed and appreciated by both the post's advisors and his fellow explorers. Explorer Captain Martinez is a role model and positive influence on all the explorers, specifically the younger ones. Explorer Captain Martinez is not just a hard worker and a positive role model, he is also a busy man. Explorer Captain Martinez balances a full-time job and a busy school schedule on top of his responsibility as an Explorer Captain. Despite his many obligations, Explorer Captain Martinez maintains a positive attitude and even-keeled temperament. Explorer Captain Martinez is always reliable. His advisors rely on him to complete and delegate assignments, and he never fails to deliver. Explorer Captain Martinez's professionalism is exceptional, and his dedication is invaluable to Post 474. Due to his outstanding efforts, Explorer Captain Martinez was selected as the Buena Park Police Department 2019 Explorer of the Year. Congratulations. If I could get Barbara Callahan to come up. Joe Callahan was our volunteer of the year, and Barbara is Joe's wife. We just recently lost Joe. So Joe Callahan spent many of his younger years in West Virginia, attending high school in Charleston. He later attended the University of Michigan, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering. Joe capped his continued education with a Master's of Science degree in aerospace engineering from USC. Joe worked for 34 years at McDonnell Douglas Corporation in the aerospace industry, where he gained extensive leadership and management experience. After his retirement, Joe's desire to give back to the community led him to the Buena Park Police Department in 1995, when he participated in one of our early versions of our Community Police Academy. Soon after, Joe joined the CAPS program as a volunteer. Joe quickly became a valuable member of the CAPS team, becoming involved in many events and activities. The leadership skills he acquired over the years also began to emerge, in that he was considered to be an informal leader of the group for a period of time before he was officially named to be the assistant squad leader. Eventually, Joe rose to the level of the CAPS coordinator, which is the highest position of a civilian leadership within the CAPS unit, overseeing the squad leaders and their activities. This position required true dedication to the unit and the ability to work well with the sworn supervisor from the police department who oversaw the CAPS unit, usually the training sergeant. Joe certainly had both of these qualities. During his tenure, Joe came up with several plans to improve operations within the CAPS unit. Examples of this include a mentorship program for newer members of the unit to be assisted by more senior members, a recognition protocol for honoring volunteers who achieve service hour plateaus, and most importantly, Joe developed operational plans and procedural manuals for the unit. These documents were prepared with the utmost professionalism and are still in use today. They provide consistency to the operation of the unit, as well as ensuring the safety and technical abilities of our volunteers. As the sworn leadership changed over the years, Joe was certainly always a constant leadership figure in the CAPS unit. He made it a point to always bring the incoming sergeant up to speed with the CAPS program and was always there to help the new sergeant with the transition. Joe loved to assist with various details for the CAPS unit, even as a leader of the organization. Of all these details, Joe had a special affection for uniform community patrol in the CAPS vehicle. Joe was certainly proud to be out in the public, and he would always point out the importance of representation to new volunteers as he showed them the ropes, making absolutely certain that they never did anything to tarnish the reputation of the CAPS program or the police department. Many of these patrol ships were spent with his longtime CAPS partner and dear friend, who's here with us today, Carol Peterson. Thank you, Carol, for being here. They continue this partnership into recent times, and they started washing our cars in administration, the car wash detail. Joe garnered several recognitions of his outstanding service over the years, including being named the Cap of the Year in 2002 by his peers. He was also recognized in February 2018 for surpassing the 6,000-hour mark of volunteer time to the CAPS unit. And as of December 2018, Joe had worked over 6,320 hours over a period of 23 years of service to the Buena Park Police Department. Additionally, Joe was recently a member of the Chiefs Advisory Board during the 2016-2017 session. Even though Joe spent a lot of time here at the police department, he made it a priority to spend quality time with his wife, Barbara, and her family. Joe's dedication and devotion to the CAPS unit and to the department were unequivocal and serves as an example to all. The void he left will be difficult to fill, and even so, it is comforting to know that his legacy will continue in the professionalism that the CAP program and its members display in all of their works. Simply because of his efforts that Joe put into the program was a true success. As a final tribute to Joe's commitment, he was named Cap of the Year by his peers for 2018 in a recent election. He received this honor posthumously by a unanimous vote of the unit members. and it is an honor that is well deserved. Although Joe is not here with us to receive the award, it is with pride and respect that the award be presented today to his wife, Barbara, during this annual Appreciation Brunch. I told this story at Joe's funeral, the car wash detail and Carol, because they used to wash our cars, and I'd see Carol first, and I'd ask Carol, "Hey, you here to wash my car?" And she's like, "Oh, no. Joe tells me I cannot wash your car. Only he washes the chief's car." Can you imagine if something happened to the chief's car? If I could have PSO Nadia Seaman come up. She is our Civilian of the Year. Police Services Officer Nadia Seaman was selected as the 2018 Civilian Employee of the Year. Nadia consistently gives 120% to our department. She is quite possibly the department's best utility player. You truly are. Sometimes knowing too much can be a blessing and a burden at the same time. Nadia never complains, though, nor does she ever say no when you ask her to do something. For years, Nadia has routinely split her duties between traffic and dispatch, or detectives and dispatch. Despite transferring into a new position in crimes prevention, Nadia continues helping out in our dispatch center, even while trying to learn her new position and conduct community events. Nadia has even been asked to work in records, which is a completely different assignment altogether. Of course, she has stepped up to the plate to learn the new endeavor and help out once again. When asked to assist with Walk a Child to School Day, Read Across America, Red Ribbon Week, Tip a Cop, you name it, Nadia helps out. She also makes sure to recognize employees who promote or rotate out of their specialized assignments. She can always be counted on to place the first call asking for service dates and information to get them their plaques started so they can plan their celebratory lunches and cakes. Nadia is also a cheerleader for the department as a whole. She is a key player in the association's annual Baker to Vegas team, and she is quite the event planner. From ordering t-shirts to setting up hospitality suites and helping with leg assignments, she is the go-to person for the event right alongside the team captains. She makes sure the team is well taken care of. Additionally, Nadia is a major driving force in the department's Cops and Goblins event. Literally thousands of children run through the police department and have a blast trick-or-treating every single year. She works hard to make sure that the community, specifically the children, have an amazing time. In her new role in crime prevention, she has hit the ground running and is highly invested in the community. From Coffee with a Cop to Love Buena Park to Police Department Open House, you can see Nadia, and today, by the way, you can see Nadia highly involved in making sure each event runs smoothly. Nadia truly puts the needs of the department and the community high. Nadia has a huge heart, and it's more than evident in her work. She is detailed because she cares, and it shows in every task she's asked to do. Congratulations. Reserve Officer Larry Ungles. He walked up to me when I got here. He said, "Another year, Chief, huh?" I said, "Yeah, another year." He's been here longer than I have. Larry's been a reserve police officer for the Buena Park Police Department since July 10th, 1978, making him Buena Park PD's most experienced reserve police officer. He is highly respected by all members of the police department and is truly an asset to this organization and to the entire Buena Park community. Larry is the past president of the Reserve Association and one of the most dedicated individuals at the department. Year after year, he's performed at an above standard level with outstanding results. He is known for his good nature, strong work ethic, and willingness to do whatever he can do to help out others. During his 40-year career, Larry has worked thousands of hours as a police reserve officer, mostly working in the traffic bureau. He has done this while maintaining his own full-time job of running a trucking company. Larry is a member of the Fatal Traffic Collision Response Team, making unselfish contributions with round-the-clock availability. This past year, Larry responded to several serious traffic collisions, lending his traffic expertise and knowledge to our traffic unit. Recently, Larry was asked to assist with background investigations for our hiring and training team. Larry took on this task with zeal, and he has become a great asset to the unit. Larry has earned the respect and admiration of all who works at Buena Park PD and deserves to be recognized as Reserve Officer of the Year. Sergeant Mike Levchuk. Sergeant Levchuk was selected as the Supervisor of the Year. Sergeant Levchuk is currently our Administrative Services Sergeant. In that assignment, Mike has numerous responsibilities, including training, community relations, media relations, managing equipment, supervision of our cadets and front counter staff, managing our police volunteers and explorers, supervising range personnel, and staffing details. Mike manages all these assignments with ease. Mike has an uncanny ability to accomplish complex tasks while always maintaining his charismatic and gregarious personality. I didn't write this, I'm just reading it. This past year, Mike was challenged with increased training demands, numerous community events, managing equipment issued to a large number of newly hired and separated employees, dealing with cadet staffing shortages, and overseeing the progress of our newly acquired body-worn camera program. Though he doesn't use social media, which I find kind of hard to believe, but Mike has been able to supervise our social media team very effectively. Mike's current assignment is well known throughout the department as perhaps the most difficult and demanding sergeant assignment. This past year, his desk was possibly the busiest it has ever been, with a myriad of responsibilities. Mike handled all of them exceptionally well and did so with class. Congratulations on this well-deserved award. And last but not least, George Gedner. Officer of the Year. I woke up this morning and I thought, is that true? The Buena Park Police Association recognizes George as the 2018 Officer of the Year. George rededicated himself in 2018 to being a more effective and proactive police officer. George, I feel like you're standing over my shoulder.
Just gotta read it first. Make sure it's right.
George routinely helped other officers who were tied up on investigations by handling calls for service out of his area. These actions accomplished two things. First, it demonstrated teamwork and camaraderie. Second, community members received service in a timely fashion. George stayed busy during his shifts of being proactive and in dealing with crime trends and making himself available to spend extra time in areas that needed visibility. George did more than stay busy with self-initiated activity or handling calls for service. Notably, Officer Gedner was investigating a bicycle theft with a victim who, with special needs, relied on that bicycle as his primary mode of transportation. George coordinated with the police association and Walmart and replaced that victim's bicycle free of charge. This is just one example of the empathy and compassion that he has towards others. Finally, George has been an active member of the Buena Park Police Association Board of Directors. He frequently organizes events to gather employees together and build positive relationships within the department. He also helps with the annual Fallen Four golf tournament and other events that bring positive change to the community and the people we serve. For these reasons, Officer Gedner was selected as the 2018 Officer of the Year. Congratulations. Okay, that concludes our program. As you can see, we do some great police work. You can put your head down on your pillow at night and feel safe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all your support.